Well, hi everyone. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Expium's Jira Work Management for All webinar. This is our last webinar of 2022. So thank you again for joining us today. I really hope this webinar is going to be of value and worthy of your time and full of helpful information and examples for you and your teams. My name is Jason Kidner. I'm a solutions architect here at Expium, also a SAFe program consultant and an Atlassian certified professional. I will be your tour guide for the next hour. I'm also joined by my Expium colleague, Elizabeth Wheeler, who will monitor the chat and the QA lines and will post some helpful links for you all. All right, let's jump in. So our agenda, it's a pretty straightforward agenda. We're going to have a couple of introductory slides related to some processes and making your work better, and some Atlassian tool introductions. Then the bulk of the webinar is going to be real life examples of just things we've dealt with clients, some pain points and solutions that we were able to build with them using Atlassian tools. So we'll walk through 5 real life examples and show you how they work in the tools. And then we'll have some time at the end for questions. So please be thinking of those and put them in the Q&A line here on this Zoom call. I'm also pleased to say that during this webinar, we are going to be doing a holiday giveaway of some cool Ray-Ban sunglasses. So during our commercial break in the middle of the webinar, and then also at the very end, I will announce a few lucky winners. So please stay tuned in. Okay, let's jump into a couple of thoughts here. All right, so a better way to work. So this webinar is not just about the Jira Work Management product, though that will be demoed first. Over the next hour, I'd like to show you an array of tools and processes that will hopefully make your work life easier, no matter what type of team you're on. So what does a better way to work look like? So here are a few thoughts. Making work visible, having clear next steps in your processes, making work collaborative, using flexible tools that change as quickly as your environment changes, and lastly, shifting your mindset from doing more work in less time to generating more value with less work. So related to these, I have to say some things about people, processes, and tools. Okay, so people, processes, and tools are key to doing whatever work you and your organization are doing. And I'm showing these in this first bullet in this order. Bear with me, there we go. So people are foundational, right? Then processes come later that focus on value and collaboration. And then finally, you have tools. They're ideally flexible tools that will support and don't hinder your people and processes. So as we work with clients over and over again, they want the tools to really help them out, and they can absolutely be really helpful. But tools by themselves can't solve your people or your process problems, okay? So just wanted to just kind of lay that out there. They're great, but they can't solve those problems. So next, we're going to turn our attention to some of the great tools in the Atlassian ecosystem and how they can benefit business teams or really any team, not just software development or IT teams. So these are a few, not all of the Atlassian tools in their ecosystem, but hopefully some of these will be familiar. You've heard of them before. These Atlassian tools are ubiquitous, so they're likely already in your organization somewhere. You might already be using them, but they're probably used by some part of your organization. We often work with business teams whose organization are already using them. Maybe their software development teams already have them. And then the business teams take them and start to use them and get them customized for their particular use. But if you don't have any of these tools in your organization, these tools are very inexpensive and very simple to get started with. There's no need to go to your VP of procurement to try to get approvals typically. So what are these tools? Well, you know, all Atlassian tools are designed to be collaborative, to be flexible, to be scalable. So these top three are the Jira products. There's Jira Work Management, Jira Software, and Jira Service Management. These are actually three separate products. So you can actually get Jira Work Management all on its own, but it does come packaged in with Jira Software licenses. So if you have Jira Software, your users can do a work management project or a software project, either one. Jira Service Management is separate, and we'll highlight that. That's for bringing in a customer portal interface and a number of other really cool features that we're not really going to get into too much today, but we're going to highlight some of them. Then we have Confluence, which is a collaborative wiki-style documentation tool that's often paired with Jira in most companies. And then we have Trello, which is a board-centric tool that many different types of teams are finding valuable. So again, these are not all the Atlassian products, but there's the ones that we're going to focus on today. And before I wrap this up, just wanted to note that these are not a specific module in some larger framework that you have to purchase. You basically can pick and choose, like a la carte, which Atlassian products you want. And then, as you'll see in this webinar, when you pair them together, you can find even more value than just using one of them. Okay, so next we're going to get into some practical examples. We're going to look at these 5 examples. Again, these are based on real life scenarios, pain points that we've worked with real clients. We're going to show you how we solve them using some of these Atlassian products that I just talked with you about. So first, task management. So who is this related to? Well, really everyone. Every type of team is managing some sort of tasks and some type of work that they're trying to complete. So the problem here is what do we have to do, okay, as a team? And is everything up to date? And who's taking care of that? Like, who's responsible? And that everyone can see who's responsible for a given work item. The solution, again, at a very high level, is just central task management, ideally with multiple views. And here it's the idea of getting away from spreadsheets. We see a lot of business teams working in spreadsheets, and there's some really cool opportunities to move out of those into the Jira product. So the tool I'm going to show you here is Jira Work Management. You could also use Jira Software, but I want to highlight Work Management to start with. So we're going to jump into our Expium demo instance. And here I'm going to go to a business project or a Jira Work Management project called the accounting project. And so as you see this has a, oh, by the way, this is all in the cloud as well, the cloud products. So if you're used to Jira Cloud at all or software, this, you'll see, as you see this, it looks quite different. This is a new, Jira Work Management is a new iteration on what used to be called Jira Core. And so they have, Atlassian's made a lot of updates to this, even some within the last few months with this look and feel. So you have these tabs at the top instead of menu options on the left-hand menu bar. I'll walk through these quickly. So much of this is kind of set and you don't have a lot of customization of this, but there's a lot of great options here. So you have a summary. This is like a dashboard that comes with these type of projects, and will show different widgets around different parts and different metrics within the project. Jira Work Management has a board option, which is like a Kanban board or similar to what you're used to in software, maybe Trello. And this is representing different columns for the different workflow statuses you have. And you can move these items, these work items along the board, along your workflow from one column to the next. So you can always see which status a work item is located in, and some other information on these cards. Going from the board, there is a list view. This is very unique to Jira Work Management. You won't see this in Jira Software or Jira Service Management. So this, again, has that spreadsheet feel that you and your teams might be really used to working in. So it shows the issues in the spreadsheet view, and you can come in here and you can edit these in line, which is a really cool feature. And there's some filtering options and some grouping options as well. There's also a calendar visual that will take the start and due dates that you have on your issues and represent them in a calendar fashion, and even show things that in red that are past due. Notice we're on the 15th, so some of these in the back are red, they're overdue. So this could be helpful. Again, this view does not show in Jira Service or Jira, yes, Service Management or software. There's a timeline view. This is a very, I'd say, pretty simple roadmap view, very basic, similar to what you might see in this Jira software boards nowadays, but very simple. If you want to get something that's a little bit more interesting and more customizable, you would need Jira Software Premium that has what's called advanced roadmaps in it. But this could be really helpful to show your tasks and even subtasks underneath those. If I scroll down, you can see subtasks that show up if you want to go have multiple levels of issues in your project. There's also a forms option. This allows you to basically create like an intake form that you can then send to other users in your organization to get intake, maybe for ideas or things like that, that your projects then that are going to become, as you can see here, it's going to become a task in this project that your team can then work on. So there's some cool opportunities to engage with folks outside of your team within here. There's also integration like Jira has in other types of projects with Confluence. So these are pages that live over in Confluence and have quick links to that. And I'm going to skip over these. These are issues, reports, things that show up that in other types of Jira projects. So, but you can see here, this is great for really any kind of team, especially business teams, to get you out of spreadsheets, to get you into a system that maybe your other teams are already in, and you could use this as well. All right, well, let's go back. So that's use case number 1. Let's go to example number 2. This is, we'll just give it the title of project management. So who is this for? So it's for PMO teams, HR teams, marketing, really any team who manages projects. So the problem that we've had with a number of clients is when managing projects or managing multiple projects, it's often difficult to keep track of the work when many teams are collaborating. Many teams are involved in helping to achieve a given project. And sometimes there's handoffs from one team to the next. So alignment usually comes in the form of standing meetings or manual status reports. Additionally, there's that the work items and information might be tracked in Excel and PowerPoint, which can make collaboration and visibility more difficult, and a lot of manual updating. So the solution, let's go back here. All right, so the solution at, again, a high level is to make work visible and to make it more easily modified as the team and environment requires. And ideally, there would also be some automation or some really tight integration where the source of truth, let's say, as we'll show you in Jira, can easily update in Confluence. So that when you're working as a team, you don't have to meet all the time. You can get the information and the updated status whenever you want to by going to Jira or to Confluence. So less time, less meetings, and just more valuable use of everyone's time. All right, so getting into the tools, I'm going to show you how this works in Jira software. Though you could use Jira Work Management as well. But for this demo, we're going to show you Jira software and then some integration with Confluence. So let me jump back into our demo site. And for this, I'm going to go to our marketing project management. This is a Jira software project. Okay, so you'll see the look and feel is different from the Jira Work Management. So it's brought me into a Kanban board in this project, and this Kanban's representing the different types of issues. And most notably, you'll see that there are epics, that's that purple lightning icon, and there are tasks, that blue checkbox icon. So the projects that this marketing team is working on are represented by epics. That's kind of higher up in your hierarchy, and they can be the parents of the tasks. So when I click in on one of these epics, you'll notice this is Project Alpha, and it's got a number of fields. Some are big multi-line text fields. There's a lot of other fields as well on the right-hand column. If I scroll down, I can quickly see any children issues. Those are the tasks in this project that are parented by this particular epic. So I can keep track and see all of those and see other links to other Confluence pages. So there's a lot of great information just on this card view on the board within Jira software. So, but this particular project is represented at a high level by this epic. So this becomes the source of truth for a lot of great information that can be updated here, and then, as we'll see, can be represented over in Confluence. So this is one view of this project and the underlying tasks that are being worked on. But you can also, oh, one last thing, let me jump back into here. On the board view or in the view screen in Jira, you can click on here and see the status that it's in. You can also view the workflow of a particular issue, and so you can see the workflow, the different statuses or steps that this epic or project is going to go through. So you can always see that visibility out here, which is really great. And then you can clearly see on a board, what is it to do and progress done at a very high level. You can also make these very, very specific related to your workflow statuses. So, but let me also show you how this project work can be represented in Confluence. So I'm switching over to Confluence. This, again, is also in the Confluence Cloud product. So here I'm in what's called a space. This is a marketing space that's really kind of tied and set up directly over to that marketing project in Jira software. And I'm going to go down here. We're going to look at this space a few other pages here later on. But we'll start with this project. Actually, let me go down to the Project Alpha. So we looked at that one epic that represented Project Alpha in Jira software. Now we're coming over and we've created a page that has a lot of information around this project as well. So some of this information is just inputted here into Confluence. Some of it, as we'll see, is being drawn out from Jira, from that epic in Jira. So in this page, there's a couple different what are called macros, like this team calendar. This is just information in Confluence where a team can represent their PTO or other events the team is doing. The Project Alpha, again, it's represented by an epic, and that link can be put in here and showcased in a special way and showing the progress. There's also a table over here that has some information that's inputted into Confluence directly, and some information over here in this table that's coming from the epic in Jira. So it can represent both of those. And as I scroll down, you can see some other cool integration where you can show a filter results of some of the issues underneath that epic over here, like current work, completed work. And you can even have some things like pie charts and other visuals of the underlying Jira data. And as we scroll down even further, we can highlight other milestones from Jira related to this project, other work details, and then you can also attach other attachments or files as well into this. So, and then lastly with this, notice there's a number of projects that this team's working on, all represented by epics in Jira. And all of those can then be summarized in a project dashboard page where each of those pages are represented. Some of the information from the Confluence pages are also represented here in this summary, as well as some of the details that are coming in from Jira. And if we scroll down, this is highlighting what I alluded to earlier. It's called Advanced Roadmaps, comes with Jira Software Premium. And you can embed a roadmap, an advanced roadmap plan into a Confluence page. So this is really great because you can then highlight all the projects. You can see the work breakdown structure. As they have dates put on them, you can also see the dates, the timelines, dependencies, things like that. So that's a little window into Jira Software Premium and Advanced Roadmaps, which is talked about in one of our other webinars around portfolio management. So, but I'm going to pause there for now and go back to our slides and just take a quick commercial break. So a little bit about Expium. We are a platinum solution partner that provides services related to Atlassian products. We provide training like these webinars that we're doing, and we also have some boot camps, a number of boot camps around different Atlassian products that we offer monthly. We are the platinum tier of solution partners, which is the top tier. So we do training. Let me go back here. There we go. We do consulting that can look like a lot of different things, from implementing a brand new product to coming in and doing cleanup work or doing some customization that you don't just have the resources for maybe in your own company. We also have do a lot of custom development work. So putting custom front ends or API integrations with other products, we can do all that. So anything that you want to do with your tools, we can make it happen, and we can bridge the gap between business and technical teams as well. So, all right. So with that in mind, before we go on, I just wanted to highlight a couple of our winners. Again, there'll be some more winners announced at the end of the webinar. Again, the winners for these Ray-Ban sunglasses. So the winners here at the midway point are Sydney Scott and Melody Playford. Okay, so Elizabeth's going to be putting your names and some contact details on how to get your information on where we can send those sunglasses to you. So congrats to Sydney and Melody. Thank you for joining us today. There'll be a few more winners announced at the very end. Thanks, Elizabeth. All right, so let's move on. We have 3 more use cases here to talk about. My slides will work. There we go. So next is a use case around hiring and onboarding. So who is this for? Well, typically it would be HR teams, but it's really for any team that it has an onboarding process. So the problem here, everyone has unique needs and the processes that change over time. So this particular example is related to an onboarding workflow for an insurance company that we worked with. This insurance company had to hire thousands of people every year, and they had to know how full their pipeline was. They had to coordinate onboarding tasks across multiple teams. They had to sync with external systems like an HIRS, and they also had to meet with insurance industry compliance. And this particular team was stuck in spreadsheets, again, which made collaboration and visibility really difficult because, again, they're having to work and collaborate with many different parts of the company. So the solution at a high level, it was a tailored workflow, actually a couple of tailored workflows that provided clear next steps, as well as automatically validated information. These workflows also had created tasks and had some automated task creation for downstream work for other teams to work on, and had some guardrails for compliance, and also did some updating of external systems. So that's a lot, and I'm not going to be able to show you all that in this demo, but just we'll be giving you a high level of what this looks like. And lastly, the solution also involved a reporting dashboard to show everyone where everyone was in the process. So the tools that we used were Jira software. Jira Service Management could also play in and be involved in this. And then Confluence could also be part of this with a dashboard, or a dashboard in Jira So, but what I'm going to do is focus more in on the Jira software project that this was implemented in. So I'm going to jump over here, back into Jira. And we're going to go to our onboarding project. This has a couple of boards. I'm going to first start off with the tier 1 board and workflow. So there's a tier 1 board and workflow and a tier 2 as well. So the tier 1 represents like new hires just coming in fresh into the organization. And so you can see here, there's a board that can show this team or others with visibility where one of these recruits is in the onboarding process. So we have recruited, scheduled, training, peer mentoring, good to go. So, and I come in and click on one of these employees, I can see a little bit about them. You know, there could be any number of fields that you put in here to capture some of their details. But what I want to highlight is the workflow. So again, I'm going to come up to the status and click on the view workflow in the dropdown. So this is the onboarding workflow tier 1. So you can see some of those statuses represented on the board that I was just showing you. So a new employee comes in, they're recruited, then they're scheduled to start, they'd go through training. After training, they'd go through some peer mentoring just to make sure they're getting all the information they need to know, maybe get involved in some real life work situations. And then eventually everyone agrees they're good to go, they're ready to go. And then there's also some other options where perhaps the recruit withdraws from the process. Maybe they're a no-show. And ultimately, at some point, maybe everyone agrees that this isn't working out, and there needs to be a termination that takes place. So all of these are potential, and there's also even this special workflow transition that could take place at any point in time in the workflow that notes it's a request termination. So with any of these within a Jira workflow, each of these statuses is connected via different types of transitions. And that's where a lot of the great magic can happen in Jira. You can put a lot of automation within those transitions. That's where Jira can do the work for you. So you can put all sorts of different, what are called post functions. Really, those are some automation rules and things like that within transitions, so that in this case, when an employee goes from one status to another, a number of things could be triggered, like some new work items with procuring equipment, or a computer, or a phone, or whatever that happens to be for them to do their job. That could be triggered by going from one to the next. You could also do auto assigning, where when something goes from scheduled to training, a new assignee gets put onto this particular onboarding person, someone who's focused on training them. And so there's these handoffs that can take place in an automated fashion. And then there could also be, connect points or integrations with other outside tools that could also take place, or even to other projects within Jira. So there's all sorts of opportunities within Jira to automate and help, again, to help you and your teams work better. So that's the tier 1 workflow. There's also a tier 2. I'll just kind of go through that quickly. Switch over to the tier 2 board. This is really meant to be those employees who have been working in your company, and you're recruiting from within to go to level up, to go and do some other role within the company that might take maybe a little bit more training or certifications in order to do that. So when we click in, notice this has a different board. It has different workflow statuses. We'll click in here on Ricky and see what this workflow looks like. So it's similar, but notice it is a little bit bigger. So you have the same sort of recruit, schedule, but in this case, there's some new ones like testing or passed, certified. This is where they go through some specific process where they actually have to reach a certification or complete a certification to be able to do the work. Advanced training, again, peer mentoring before they can be good to go. And then there's always, the path where they might withdraw from this or be terminated. So, and again, each of these could have their own automation involved. So, but ultimately, when a company like this insurance company was onboarding thousands of employees a year, this process helped them to stay in compliance. Okay, a lot of this was automated. They had guardrails set around this, probably even approval processes, things like that, an audit trail that Jira provides. And everyone was able to stay aligned to know exactly where each new employee or current employee was at in the onboarding process. So again, if you have any questions about this, you can hold it. I will do my best to answer questions at the very end. Okay, let's move on to something we haven't looked at yet. So service desks. So this gets into our Jira Service Management. But first off, who are service desks for? Well, they're not just for IT. That's where you might think of it, like IT or facilities, things like that. But service desks can be really for any team, HR, marketing, legal, okay, any team you can think of, okay? Because even though you might not think of yourself as a service team, many teams within your organization are service teams where they're serving other people, other customers, whether they're internal customers or external customers. They are doing something like that, like legal or marketing, for example. And so there's a problem where there could be many different channels of intake. You get something by an email, or your boss says something in a chat. You might have a doorway conversation if you're working in person, things like that. So there's various types of intake. There's no clear prioritization. There might not be really visibility in all these different intake levels. They have to be put somewhere. So, so you may not be working on the most valuable or important thing at a given time. So despite your best efforts, those services are often provided opaquely, with requesters wondering when something will be done, like how am I going to get back to this person who sent me an email or just sent me a direct message on Slack. So there's all that sort of thing, and you don't want people constantly bothering you or your boss asking for updates. So, so a solution at a high level, let's get back here, is a service desk that provides a clean intake form, a clean intake channel that keeps your requesters updated automatically on where things are at, where you can communicate with them in a nice seamless way. And then it's all just stored in a place where other users can come in and potentially with escalations or other things, and to see all the information and to collaborate really smoothly. So the solution also can involve queues on the back end that involve SLAs, and again, just to help know with priorities and to know where things are at and who's working on which intake or request that has come in. So the tools here, in this case, it's Jira Service Management that can also be integrated with Confluence for your articles, to potentially help your users out, so they might not need to submit a request. So I'm going to show you these and how some of these are related to some real life examples. So I'm going to jump back into Jira. And in this case, I'm going to go over and show you a help center. This particular instance of Jira, our demo instance, has Jira Service Management in it, which allows for this sort of view, this portal view that can be opened up to external customers, or it could just be used for your internal customers. And you can see here that there could be multiple service desks. These are each represented by a different service management project within your instance. So again, not just for IT, you can have an HR service desk. I'm going to click into that. And when you come here, there's different ways you can adjust the look and feel of this. But one thing you can do on a service desk is you can highlight articles. So in this case, this service HR service desk has things about FAQs, where you can click on that and you can see some FAQs around different HR related topics. If we come back here, there's also policies or other, and basically each one of these is represented, or it's showing here, but this is a page over in Confluence that's integrated with this Jira Service Management project to highlight help articles. So there is that really tight integration between those two tools, which is we see many of our clients really benefit from. But let's say a given customer doesn't, these help articles, this knowledge base isn't helpful, they could raise a request by clicking here. And then you come to different, what are called request types. So let's click on one of these, this employee onboarding. So this is a very customized form, intake form that can be created within Jira Service Management. So you could type in your information here. I'm not going to go through all of this, but this could be very customized, and it can even have, there's other things within Jira Service Management related to what are called assets that can be brought in here as well and highlighted on these screens or chosen by your customers. So that's just one example of an onboarding form. But let's go down to a little simpler form, go down to questions for HR. So here, just have a basic, what's your question? This represents a summary, what's going to become the summary of the ticket that's opened. So I need to change my name. And notice as I start to type this in, JSM tries to look at some of the words in the summary and to figure out maybe a knowledge base article that it could suggest to you. So it's tried to suggest something. And this, again, is to help offset a request being made. So, so there's that algorithm there that's kind of looking up and trying to help the customer. But let's say I still need to submit this. So I'm going to put this in and then click send. And a ticket is then opened up within this particular Jira Service Management project. This is the customer view, what they see of what they've put in, and some other information of the status, maybe potential transitions they could do within the workflow. And they can also add in comments that would then get to the agents on the other end, and then the agents can comment back to them. So there can be a dialogue, a conversation through the portal. So that's what you see here. The customers could also go up to their requests up here, and they can look at different requests they've opened that are still open. They can see a list of them, and they could just click on those to get an updated view of what's happening. Where does this particular request stand? So the customer gets that. And then on the back end, let me click into one of these here. And then since I'm actually an agent in the system, this now shows you the agent view of this particular item over here. So you can, and let me actually click back into the project and show you. Oh yeah, here we go. Let me go to all open. So this shows you different queues. This is something specific to Jira Service Management projects, where you have a queue of the items that have come in, and you can see statuses. You can see the SLA timer over here. At the very bottom, I can see the ticket that was just submitted by me. And you can customize this queue with lots of different information that you want to see. But this then, the agent can then take it. We see auto assigning and lots of different automation taking place within JSM projects to help with auto assigning or filling out fields based on the fields filled out on the portal. But here, the agent could take and run with it. They could see the SLAs that could be met with different things within the system. So there's a lot of really great features here that, again, could help any type of team, not just an IT team, but again, could help an HR team in this case to know who's taking care of this request, where is it. The agent can reply to the customer. So you have that audit trail of the conversation, And it's just so much better than direct messages or emails or just, chatting on the phone or in the hallways. So you have this all in one tool. There's visibility, again, collaboration. So a couple of just notes of caution. Service desks, like any piece of technology, can be used in an impersonal way. So we definitely want to be empathetic to the user when designing these service portals and to make it as easy for your customers to use as possible, and also obviously helpful to your agents as well. So we often set up these service projects adjacent to a team's internal work tracker. So a team might have this as their intake channel, but they also have teams working in Jira software, and there needs to be some collaboration and integration between a JSM project and a Jira service or Jira software project. So we've done that a lot. There's a lot of great automation opportunities within the tool to make that happen, and various visibility options as well. So JSM, again, we have other webinars around Jira Service Management and ITSM solutions. Please check those out as well on our YouTube channel or on our Expium website with upcoming events. Okay, we are down to our final example, centralized knowledge. Okay, and this is really a focus on using Confluence as a portal. So ultimately, who is this related to? Well, it's related to any team that has information that they're trying to share within their team, or potentially to other users within their company or potentially outside of their company. So the problem that we see oftentimes is, where do I find this information? Where is it located? Is the information up to date? Am I getting a real life view on the information? So sorry about that. So again, the solution is to use, in this case, to use Confluence as an information portal for other tools, or for other Confluence pages or other knowledge repositories. So again, most of your information may not be stored in Confluence, but Confluence is that one place to go that can then point you in the right direction to get to the information. So let's go over back into Confluence. And we're gonna stay in this marketing space and look at a few other pages that we've created out here. So imagine, again, this is a marketing team, that this space is available and visible to other users within Confluence, within your organization. So they would come over here. We highlighted earlier how other users could come in here, see the status of their projects, how things are going, when they're supposed to be finished, et cetera, et cetera. But there's other things in this space, other pages like the team homepage. This is a great, whether it's here or potentially up in the overview, the landing page in a space. This is where you can highlight who is your team? What are you about? How can users get in contact with you outside of Confluence? What are latest updates, like other pages that you're updating within your own space, or maybe other spaces in Confluence? So these are all using different types of what are called macros within Confluence. As I scroll down, we have a meet the team area. Again, that you can highlight who's on your team, what are their roles, how can you reach out to them within Confluence. There's also a team calendar, kind of showed that earlier. Then this is really cool, this frequently used resources. This again is where Confluence becomes really powerful, where you can put links to lots of different areas. These just happen to be other URL, external links, but they live here. So a user can click on these to go out to other products where the marketing team's working and storing information. Some of these also might just be internal Confluence pages as well, links to those. And the ability to search within this particular space for other marketing information. So that's one way, again, that Confluence can be used to share stuff about your team. This team also, if we scroll down, they have a new product plan page. And in this case, this is highlighting that this marketing team isn't just working in Atlassian products, they are working in Miro, or maybe they're working in some other dashboarding or visualization tool. But this highlights that Confluence, the cloud product of Confluence, has a lot of really cool tie-ins to other cloud apps like Miro. Okay, so this can be shown inline. You can adjust it. You can see all that can be seen here. You can even, obviously quick link back over into Miro. But it's a great place for users who may not be in Miro to show what your team's up to with their product plan. If we go down to some other pages here, you see some other integrations with other tools. So here, the marketing team's trying to plan for a trade show, Vegas 2022. So this team happens to be using Trello as well, not just Jira software. So they have a Trello board that they have all their tasks in their preparation for that trade show. And as you're seeing here, you can embed a Trello board within a Confluence page, again, to help with that, to reduce the context switching and the tool switching. So, and this is, I believe, yeah, this is even interactive as well. So again, the Atlassian tools are very tightly integrated, but there's tie-ins with other products like Miro. And then if we click on our very last page here, you'll see some embedded, these were put in as links, but these are embedded sheets and docs from Google Drive. So there's tie-ins with Google and some other things that are just embedded, brought into Confluence out of the box. There are also many, many, many different add-ons in both Confluence and in Jira that you can purchase. Some are free, but add-ons to integrate with other products like Microsoft products or just other products that your company is using. And if there isn't an integration, again, you can hire a partner like Expium to help you with your very specific needs and integration needs. So again, this is to highlight again, a centralized knowledge base. Confluence is wonderful at that. And these are just the tip of the iceberg with some of the features within Confluence. Okay, so now we're in wrap-up mode. So again, as you saw here, we highlighted Jira Work Management, Jira Software, Jira Service Management, Confluence, and Trello. And again, your organization likely already has one or more of these tools. And if you don't have them, we would love to talk with you about setting them up. Both implementing them, we can also handle licensing as well for Atlassian products. These tools are not meant to be a replacement for some of the systems you already have, like an HIRS, but these tools are great to help fill in the gaps or to help provide a foundation for your work tracking or your intake or your knowledge sharing, things like that. They're really, again, tightly integrated, provide a lot of value, and really, again, ultimately to help you and your teams work better, work smarter, work better, things like that. So as we wrap up, we're going to have a time for Q&A here in a moment. But first, I just wanted to highlight that we do have other upcoming webinars and classes. Again, these are all going to be in the new year. So you can see here, these are listed really from our Expium website. And some of the products that we highlighted, that I highlighted in this webinar, like Jira Service Management, Confluence, even some things like advanced roadmaps. These are covered in some of these other webinars. So highly encourage you to go check out, sign up for some of these. They all happen on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central. And we also have some boot camps. You can see later on, we have boot camps for Jira and for Confluence as well. Those are multi-day boot camps. Those you have to pay for, but those are coming up later in January. So, and if you have any other questions or want to reach out or get help with anything, my email is listed here. You can also, there's a QR code as well for my LinkedIn account as well. Reach out to me there. Be happy to work with you and to see, yeah, how we can help support your needs with Atlassian products. So before I get to Q&A, we have our final sunglass winners. So there's two final winners here. Angela Kupchella, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name, Angela Kupchella, and Daphne Foreman. Okay, so Angela and Daphne, you are our lucky winners, and winners, please send an email to elizabeth.wheeler@expium.com with your mailing address so we can send you your custom Expium Ray-Ban sunglasses. So again, that's in the chat. Please, you can send an email. You don't obviously need to put your contact details in the chat. Send an email to elizabeth.wheeler@expium.com with your contact details. All right, so let's wrap up with some Q&A. And let me check the question and answer, see what questions have come in. Okay, so the first question here is, do you offer training on the tools that you've showed today? So yes, we do offer training on all of these products. There are these public, well, we have the webinars that I mentioned that you can sign up for. Those are free, so you can see that schedule here. Just to get an overview, we also, again, have training. We have a 3-day Jira boot camp, that's public, public Confluence boot camp, that's 1 day. We also have a new offering, a Jira Service Management boot camp that's coming up, yeah, on January 31st. That's a 2-day boot camp. We also offer customized trainings for any Atlassian product that you and your teams are using. So if you want to get into that, we can certainly do that. We also have trainings around Jira Align. We also are starting to offer Agile and safe trainings as well. So that's a new thing. You can, again, find out about all these things on our website. So we'd love to yeah, talk with you about any of your training needs. Let's see, another question came in. How can I find out what our organization already has? So yeah, so find out what tools, if any, our organization already has. So so if you're not sure, if you don't necessarily know who your admin is, or maybe some other person in your company that you can talk with, you could always reach out to Expium. We can certainly look into finding out and working. Again, we have a great close relationship with Atlassian. We can find out if your organization already has one of these products or products. Sometimes users are in Jira. They don't realize that their company also has Trello. So sometimes different parts of the organization, purchase the licenses, and especially if you're in a really large organization. So we can absolutely help you to know that. And again, if you don't have it or already have it, we can certainly come in and help with whatever needs you might have. Let's see here, a couple of other things. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat line. I have access to Jira via my agency. However, I'm confused with the Jira product that we have. When I open my project, I see 3 stacked blue arrows as the icon. What product do we have? Okay, good question. There are different icons for the different Jira products. Let me see if I can answer that. I get them confused. So if we come over here to this 3 dots, hopefully, yeah, these are the cloud related ones. Oh yeah, so this might be it. Yeah, the three stacked arrows. That's what's called Jira Product Discovery. So that is a new beta product coming out from Atlassian. And I'll just click on this just to highlight, this is a new type of project. It's really, I haven't played with this too much, but it's meant to allow ideas to come in and to assess ideas, to have like a limited like product roadmap. It can also help you to kind of keep track of different things related to a product or a project. And I'm certainly not doing this justice. It is a beta product that is coming out and available for users who have other Atlassian products to use and start to get a feel for. So hopefully that answers that. Oh yeah, the three blue arrows on a Jira issue. Those arrows, yeah, represent priorities, and I might not have it to be able to show it to you here, but appreciate that question. Again, if you want to reach out to us, reach out to me. Let me again get back to this final page. If you have any other questions around the products that you have or anything like that, I'm happy to follow up with you offline. Just email myself, and we can certainly help you out. Oh, okay. Elizabeth is saying, go back to the Jira screen. Let me jump into one of these.
I was just going to say, on the tab that you have there up at the top of the browser, you've got those three arrows, like all the way to the top. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm curious if that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, that could be. And it's interesting. Yeah, these all represent, I'm in Jira. So yeah, this would also be the Jira icon. There's different icons, as you can see out here. We have like a Jira software, but Jira just in general is highlighted by that icon. It's also highlighted down here by Jira as the Jira product discovery icon. So yeah, so if you see those three arrows, you're in some form of a Jira product. So yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks for that call out. Yeah, lots of different icons for all the different Atlassian products. Okay, well, with that, we are at time here. Thank you so much for coming, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Again, hopefully this was helpful for you and the way your teams are working or trying to think about working in new ways with new processes or new tools to help you. And again, please check out our future webinars. Most of these webinars, including this one, are recorded, and they end up on our Expium YouTube channel as well for you to view or to share with your coworkers. So again, thank you again for joining. Hope you have a safe and restful holiday season coming up, and hopefully we'll be in touch now or in the new year. So thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your day.